This is my review of Sonic X. Okay, so starting off this episode, Sonic and the rest of the Mobians actually explain to Chris and Chuck what the Chaos Emeralds are and how they got there. So they explain what happened, how they got warped to Chris's home by Chaos Control, and also explain how the Chaos Emeralds work. And also points out that they have a tendency to get scattered from time to time. Every time all 7 of them are brought back into a single place, kind of like the Dragon Balls, but that's a completely different franchise. Although it is less than subtle that it's supposed to be a Dragon Ball ripoff, but yeah. But yeah, they identify that the Chaos Emeralds are indeed powerful and an important power source, and also point out that they need to find them before Dr. Eggman does. Because if Dr. Eggman finds them, or worse yet, they're not even on Chris's planet, they have no chance of getting home. So, meanwhile, the government has started mobilizing some of its agents to keep an eye on Dr. Eggman and Chris, so that they can actually keep an eye on things and bring Dr. Eggman and Sonic and his friends in. Mainly because they're just an oddity, and the government is kind of haven't realized that Sonic is a good guy yet. So they put some agents near Dr. Eggman's base to keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't do anything illegal, which backfires horribly. Later even in the same episode, it just doesn't go well for them. Meanwhile, Chris's usual teacher has been replaced by an agent named Mr. Stewart, who is there as a substitute teacher and is less than subtle on what his goals are. He's trying to observe Chris and make sure that he's trying to identify where Sonic is, more or less. He's trying to identify where Sonic is, and the government realized the best way to do that was through Chris. So they send in somebody to replace his teacher as a substitute teacher. But then things ramp up in this episode when the Chaos Emeralds break the news when it's discovered that one of them had appeared at a construction site and caused some of the equipment to go haywire. At which point Cream and Dr. Eggman both figure it out. Dr. Eggman mobilizes one of his robots, a ear-to-ear robot named Beacon, which has a very subtle pun because it has the word beak in it. And Chris tells Sonic, Tails, and the others that they found the Chaos Emerald, and it's at a construction site. So both sides mobilize to try and get to the Chaos Emerald first, with Sonic and his pals going to try and actually get to the construction site before Dr. Eggman, and Dr. Eggman sending in his beacon to actually go and get the Chaos Emerald. Meanwhile, Chris sees all of this play out from his classroom window and makes an excuse to leave and goes to go help out with the Chaos Emerald. Meanwhile, Mr. Stewart leaves the class as well to go and follow Chris and see where he's going. So eventually Eggman and Sonic cross paths, and for lack of a better word, Eggman asks Beacon to start juggling Sonic, and juggle him he does. Sonic is unable to fight back because he's just being ping-ponged up and down by the robot and is unable to actually fight back. Until Tails and Amy actually give him a ring, which enables him to actually stand a fighting chance against Beacon and defeat the robot. At which point he goes back on a search to look for the Chaos Emeralds. Meanwhile, Dr. Eggman, while Sonic is distracted, winds up on the construction site and actually finds the Chaos Emerald, but Chris gets to it first and steals it right out of Eggman's hands, more or less. At which point Eggman steals it back, and Chris pursues him on his flying ship thing that he rides around in. I don't really know what the name of it is, but Chris clings to it and hangs on for dear life as he tries to get the Chaos Emerald back from Dr. Eggman, and he succeeds by grabbing Dr. Eggman by the mustache while they're in the air, and Dr. Eggman accidentally giving Chris the Chaos Emerald, knocking Chris off the ship, yes, but losing the Chaos Emerald in the process. So at which point Sonic sees that Chris is falling and rescues him, and Dr. Stewart, Mr. Stewart, who was following close behind Chris this entire time and attempted to save him, sees that Sonic is not as bad a guy as the government might think he is, and realizes that at the very least somebody else is looking out for the kid, and then decides to go back to work. Well, work, but you get the point. But yeah, with one Chaos Emerald down, that only leaves 6 to go, and Chris apologizes to Sonic for losing the Chaos Emerald, but Sonic says that the apology wasn't really necessary since he got it back anyway, and that was all that really mattered. Although Chuck warns Chris to be a little bit more careful in the future. But yeah, that's 1 Chaos Emerald down, 6 more to go, and I have no idea how the rest of this is going to play out. They're clearly going to be a few more Chaos Emeralds going forward, which means Eggman is going to employ a few more robots going forward, and it's just now going to be a fight for the Chaos Emeralds at this point. But now the government is starting to mobilize and trying to keep an eye on Chris and his family so that they can actually keep Sonic in check. We know that's not really necessary because it's Sonic. We know how Sonic operates at this point. Anybody who's played his games for long enough will know that Sonic's a good guy. But yeah, the government doesn't know that, and they're the ones who are trying to keep an eye on him. So, whoop-de-doo. But yeah, that's my review of Sonic X. If you guys did indeed enjoy them, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below or over on my Discord server, link in the description. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter in the description below to keep up to date with stuff that's going on with the channel. I also post my thoughts about certain stuff going on over there, but so if you want to keep up to date with what's going on and also check out some of my opinions on certain things, then be sure to check out my Facebook and Twitter. And also, if you want to help support the show, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way of saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Again, it's only a couple bucks a month. It helps me out, so help support me, and I'll help support you guys in turn. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!